Just give me a second, everyone. I need to reconfigure with my laptop and see if this is working. And it looks like it's working, so therefore hold on. Yeah, I will do. It's fine. Okay. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's CNinja202. Welcome back to another chess video. We have, in the last video, we didn't do so well at chess. We just didn't beat the computer itself. And it's very difficult to beat the computer when basically you haven't played chess for forever, and also you just don't know the moves. So yeah, that's kind of what my excuse is, I guess, which isn't that great. But anyway, we're going to be playing some chess, and we're going to be playing on the 2 seconds per move, which is probably the same thing we played last time, but that is what we're going to be doing for some of this chess. So there's also music in the background if you wanted to, just to make it interesting, I guess. But anyway, let's move. But if you're enjoying these types of videos, hit the like button, subscribe for more of this great old content, and yeah, please subscribe, I guess. I don't know. Okay. Yay, it's the delayed voice thing which happens. It tells me...
Pawn e7 to e5.
There it is. Pawn e7 to e5. Okay. Knight. To that.
Knight g8 to f6.
Okay, we'll put pawn there.
Knight b8 to c6.
I don't even know how good the stream is going. It seems to be alright, to be fair.
Bishop f8 to e7.
Just don't wanna... Let's go on the offensive.
Knight f6 takes c4.
And that was not a good idea. He's gonna try and checkmate me pretty much straight away if I try something. If I put pawn there,
Knight e4 to f6.
try and take him, which probably wouldn't work anyway, but I wish I had someone to help me. But let's throw it there just to...
Castle kingside.
Okay, castle. He's gonna try and protect his king. But I have a strategy up my sleeve. I do hope the music is not too loud, because I don't think it is, but I'm not sure. That's my question. Castle.
Knight f6 to g4.
Why are you doing that? Put pawn there.
Pawn e5 to e4.
is where it gets a lot trickier. I'm not gonna lie.
Pawn d7 to
then
d5.
You have to move the pieces around the board, but then try and stay relevant to what you're doing. Queen takes. Oh
Bishop
my
c8
God.
takes g4.
Well, that seems like an automatic
Bishop
loss.
e7 takes g5.
I cannot believe that. I did the most basic thing I could ever do in chess, and that's never leave your queen exposed, or just don't give away the queen that cheaply. I mean, really? And then I can't do much from then on then, because
Bishop g5 to
my
e3.
queen's been
Check.
check.
Queen d8 takes h4. Checkmate.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Ah, brilliant. I love this. Let's try again then. Let's see how we do. That you should not be seeing that. I hope you're not, because that would be a disaster if someone saw that. It includes a lot of my stuff, really. Right, new game. Let's see if we can do it.
Knight g8 to f6.
Let's bring out the knight again. Bit ambitious there. I think maybe the best. Let's try my flanking strategy.
Knight f6 takes c4.
I think he thinks probably he can try and isolate my bishop, but I don't think he's going to do that.
Knight e4 to f6.
Yeah, I've pushed him back a little bit, because he knows that if I try and take him there, then he's got no chance. But what I could do is, that's kind of annoying because the pawn's in the way there, and you can't really move anyone.
Pawn e7 to e5.
Okay, pawn e7 to e7. That opens up the lane. He's trying to take my that. So therefore, the best strategy would be to go here. So that covers that space. He wants to try and
Pawn e5 to e4.
Alright. Kind of messes up my strategy there. What? I mean, why though? How have I allowed that to happen? And I'm never quick enough to find these things.
Pawn e4 takes d3.
Yeah, just you know, the free pieces that everyone likes. The pawns, unfortunately, I've literally lost about one piece actually.
Pawn d7 to d5.
But still, it just feels like a big loss. I mean, he's not even brought out his cavalry, pretty much. And I just want. Just feel I'm getting isolated in the areas that I want to attack. Can't go there because he's going to take me. Can't go. I just don't know why they're always so aggressive.
Bishop f8 to c5.
Just no. Just trying to. What do you do in this situation?
Bishop c5 takes b4.
Yeah, he had to try and take me. Going for that type of move. Can I stop him? Because it's that space he wants. Castle to try and protect my king from being overrun by the bishop.
Pawn c7 to c6.
Pawn to try and block off the preceding bishop. He has to either
Bishop b4 to
me.
d6.
He's going to retreat. Okay, so this is a bit of a difficult one. But I think no, that's not the best move. The best move probably is. No, hold on. I want to attack, but then I want to try to defend. Can't go there. All these things are pretty much I can't not go. I want that bishop out of the way. I want these bishops. The bishops always cause me so much trouble because of how they can just diagonally go along. In case the bishop wants to be cocky.
Bishop d6 takes f4.
Oh, that's a good move.
Castle kingside.
Castle inside.
Pawn d5 to d4.
Let's try that. It's like queen, honestly. The queen's the most annoying piece.
Rook f8 to e8.
This is tough. I've said that so many times. I don't know what I'm saying in this anymore, but I just wish there was a space I could go to where I can just control the game from there. There's not many moves though. Yeah, that's the move I can only think of that wouldn't jeopardize.
Pawn
that.
d4 takes e3.
He would get my pawn, but he wouldn't necessarily be able to get my other things. Probably gonna use my bit. I've got.
Pawn e3 takes d2.
Be done. We trade queens then, idiots.
Pawn d2 takes e1, promoting to queen.
No, because your queen's gone. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're trading rooks now.
Rook e8 takes d8.
Or not. Get wrecked. One idiot. What's the move thing? Show hint.
I would suggest rook e1 to e.
At least I've got his
Bishop
queen.
f4 to c7.
C7.
I would suggest rook f1 to d1.
Knight b8 to a6.
Come on, I can win. I can win this.
I would suggest rook e4 to e3.
I can win this if things go right.
Knight a6 to c5.
I would suggest rook d1 to a1.
Knight c5 takes d3.
I would suggest pawn a4 to a5.
Bishop c8 to e6.
I would suggest rook e3 to e2.
Knight d3 to c5.
I would suggest rook e2 to e1.
Just trying to wait. I never see it coming.
Rook d8 to d3.
I would suggest rook e1 to e3.
Rook
Wonder
d3 takes
I
e3.
wonder who that viewer was I just saw. Who came in on the library account and then left.
I would suggest pawn f2 takes
So,
e3.
oh my god, the brick's been taken. They did not see.
Rook a8 to d8.
I would suggest pawn a5 to a6.
Well, that's kind of not very helpful though.
Knight c5 takes a6.
I would suggest rook a1 to b1.
Bishop c7 to b6.
I would suggest king g1 to f1.
There it is, limited moves.
Rook d8 to d2.
I would suggest rook b1 to e1.
Knight a6 to
Limited
b4.
moves indeed.
I would suggest king f1 to g1.
Bishop e6 to d5.
I would suggest king g1 to f1.
Well, I don't know if this is going anywhere, to be honest. I've only got a king
Knight b4 to
rook.
c2.
and
I would suggest rook e1 to e2.
I swear it's coming for checkmate.
Knight c2 takes e3. Check.
I would suggest rook e2 takes e3.
Bishop d5 takes g2. Check.
I would suggest king f1 to e1.
Bishop b6 takes e3.
I would suggest pawn h3 to h4.
Bishop g2 to f3.
I would suggest king e1 to f1.
Rook d2 to d1. Checkmate.
Yay! They finally did it. Checkmate. Yes. We love checkmate, okay? Because that is what happens in this game. When you lose. And we lost because I can't tell, to be honest. But let's try again and see if we can do it.
Pawn
better
e7 to
this time.
e6.
We always bring out the pawns first.
Pawn d7 to d5.
Yep, that's good. Queen there. Moment.
Knight g8 to f6.
Check.
Pawn c7 to c6.
Thought this would be a good move. but I don't think it will be. It will cost me actually. No, I'll put because I don't.
Pawn c6 takes b5.
Oh dear. Oh, let's try take that move. Right, we're in this situation here. Queen is there. Queen is under threat from knight, who could try and take the pawn. Now we move queen here, and wherever he moves next, he probably move his
Pawn d5 takes c4.
Okay, he's going to move his pawn, try and get his queen out. That's still good. You know, he doesn't have his stupid little thing, but he'll have his stupid that stupid little bishop there. Which
Pawn e6 to e5.
Move out.
Bishop c8 takes h3.
Oh my god, why am I so dumb? Not even seeing such a basic move.
Pawn e5 takes d4.
Remember, I can't let these guys down.
Pawn d4 to d3.
Don't know if is he gonna go for the run? Because I think that's what he's trying to do. There's no way he can get it. He's not gonna. There's no way he's gonna try and do that. Because that would be stupid. But however,
Bishop c8 to f5.
However, though, that would be checkmate. Just gonna. Oh my gosh, he's trying to trap my queen. I think I should go there, stop, see if I can jump him there.
Knight b8 to d7.
But that stops someone else. Yeah, we'll do there. And it's queen.
Pawn e4 takes f3.
take away his piece.
Queen d8 to e7. Check. Castle queenside.
Castle queenside, he says.
Pawn h7 to h6.
Okay.
Knight f6 to g4. Check. Queen e7 takes e3. Check. Rook d8 to e8.
I'm gonna get so battered if I can't even figure out how to do this. Can't think. Check.
King c8 takes d8.
You probably thought that was the most dumbest thing ever, but it was the only thing I could think of at the time. And also, I don't think I believe I can win this game. I don't think I can win this game. I really don't.
Knight d7 to e5. Knight e5 takes f3. Queen e3 takes d2. Checkmate.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought would happen. But Again, we've been done by some. It's so frustrating to see
Knight G8 to F6.
stuff like this happen to you. It just doesn't bode well for what could be achieved.
Knight F6 takes C4.
What is he trying to do?
Pawn E7 to E6.
Throwing the rook forward because I don't.
Bishop
get this
F8
rook
to
forward
C5.
a lot of the time. Throw that pawn.
Bishop C5 to E7. Pawn D7 to D5.
If he takes me.
Pawn E6 to E5.
No, I'm going aggressive because he keeps taking my important pieces.
Pawn D5
Why
takes
not? Why not
C4.
take his pieces? Show him that I'm way better than he is at this game. I'm taking a lot more pieces now. But if I get the
Bishop
chance,
C8
I want
takes
to-
H3.
Okay. Well, I'll just take your piece then. This is a battle of just
Castle
taking
kingside.
taking pieces here at the moment. Putting pressure on king. Sort of.
Queen D8 takes D4.
Oh, Christ. No, thank you. Any hints?
I would suggest bishop f1 to g2.
Knight B8 to D7.
Not a bad idea, actually.
Knight D7 takes C5.
I would suggest pawn d4 takes e5.
Oh, he actually gonna is he actually gonna take my
Queen D8 takes D1. Check.
Okay.
Bishop E7 takes H4.
I would suggest bishop c1 to e3.
I've got a chance here. I've still got my two bishops
Rook A8 to D8. Check.
at the moment. Check.
I would suggest king d1 to c1.
Where the hell's the check been from?
Rook F8 to E8.
Of course. Get rid of that stupid thing.
Rook E8 takes C5. Rook E5 to E1. Checkmate.
No way, no way.
I would suggest rook a1 to a3.
Bishop h4 to g5. Bishop h4 to g5.
I would suggest bishop b7 to c6.
Pawn a7 to a5.
I would suggest rook a3 to c3.
Rook a3 to c3.
Bishop g5 takes e3. Check.
Oh my gosh, how? Okay.
I would suggest rook c3 takes e3.
Bloody counterproductive. I don't want to be that. I don't want to lose my my rook. I've already lost my
Bishop e3 takes f2.
Get rid of this stupid thing. Though.
I would suggest bishop c6 to b5.
Pawn c7 to c5.
Pawn.
I would suggest rook c3 to f3.
Rook d8 to d1. Check.
I would suggest king b1 to a2.
No, that's kind of not good. Do you think about it?
Bishop f2 to h4.
Oh, I think I know what to do.
Rook d1 to d7.
I would suggest rook f3 to f1.
But why? If this goes wrong, I'm taking that back, because I'm sorry. There's no way.
Rook e5 to e3.
No other moves.
I would suggest rook f1 to f5.
Rook e3 takes h3.
I would suggest rook f5 takes c5.
Bishop h4 to d8.
I would suggest bishop c4 to b5.
Rook d7 to c7.
I would suggest rook c5 to d5.
Just gonna go back.
Bishop d8 to e7.
I would suggest bishop b5 to d3.
Rook c7 to c5.
I would suggest rook d5 to d7.
Yep.
Rook c5 to e5.
I would suggest pawn c2 to c4.
Okay, the pawns are coming out.
Bishop e7 to f6.
I would suggest bishop d3 to f1.
me take this guy, or it's going to get low.
Rook h3 to h2.
Probably, I don't know.
I would suggest rook d7 to b7.
Pawn g7 to g6.
I would suggest bishop f1 to d3.
No, hold on a minute. Couldn't I? Sure, I could have got. Oh no, I can't.
I would suggest rook d7 to b7.
I see.
Pawn g7 to g6.
I would suggest rook b7 to b6.
King g8 to g7.
Just trying to protect the king.
I would suggest rook b6 to b3.
Rook e5 to f5.
I would suggest bishop f1 to d3.
Rook f5 to f2.
I would suggest bishop d3 to e4.
If we don't win this game, I swear.
Bishop f6 takes b2.
I would suggest rook b3 to f3.
Bishop b2 to d4. Check.
I would suggest rook b3 to f3.
Rook f2 to e2.
I would suggest bishop e4 to d3.
We just gotta get out of the chase.
Rook e2 to e1.
I would suggest rook f3 to f1.
Bishop b2 to d4. Check.
I would suggest king a2 to b3.
Rook h2 to b2. Check.
I would suggest king b3 to a3.
Rook e1 to e3.
I would suggest rook f1 to d1.
Rook e3 to f3.
I would suggest pawn c4 to c5.
Rook f3 takes d3. Checkmate.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be another checkmate.
Rook b2 to c2.
I would suggest pawn c5 to c6.
Rook c2 to c3. Check.
I would suggest king a3 to b2.
Rook f3 to f2. Check.
I would suggest king b2 to b1.
Dear me. I probably haven't talked
I
for
would
like
suggest
years.
rook c3 to b3.
Check.
I would suggest king b1 to c1.
Bishop d4 to e3. Check.
I would suggest rook d1 to d2.
Rook b3 takes d3.
I would suggest king c1 to c2.
Rook f2 takes d2. Check.
I would suggest king c2 to b1.
Rook d2 to e2. Rook d3 to d1. Checkmate.
What?
I would suggest pawn c6 to c7.
Rook d3 to
Okay.
d1. Checkmate.
That made sense. By doing that, just no. We'll have one more go. We'll have one more go at this. And
Pawn
I'll
e7 to
probably be done,
e6.
I think. I really do. At chess, at least. You never get us exposed on the flanks. So
Pawn
therefore, we've
c7
gotta
to
try
c5.
and aim for the areas where we're not really going to use anything.
I would suggest bishop f1 to b5.
Knight g8 to f6.
I would suggest pawn e4 to e5.
Knight f6 to d5.
I would suggest knight b1 to c3.
Knight d5 takes c3.
I would suggest pawn d2 takes c3.
Right, brilliant. I've lost a knight.
Bishop f8 to e7.
Can't believe it. I've lost a knight because of what the computer told me to do. Pretty much.
I would suggest pawn h2 to h4.
Knight b8 to c6.
I would suggest pawn h4 to h5.
Why are we using our pawn?
Queen d8 to c7.
I would suggest queen d1 to e2.
Pawn a7 to a6.
I'm streaming this, literally. It's just... What's happening? It's only 1 o'clock in the morning, but...
I would suggest
Just
bishop
feels-
b5 to d3.
It just feels so tired.
Pawn b7 to b5.
I would suggest king e1 to g1.
Pawn c5 to c4.
I would suggest bishop d3 to a4.
Pawn f7 to f5.
I would suggest bishop e4 takes c6.
Queen c7 takes c6.
I would suggest knight f3 to d4.
Queen c6 to d5.
I would suggest rook f1 to d1.
Bishop c8 to b7.
I would suggest pawn f2 to f3.
Just using hints pretty much. Not
Queen
much
d5 to
thing,
c5.
At all.
I would suggest pawn a2 to a4.
I did debate on this whether to do chess or do something.
Pawn
on
g7 to
Minecraft, and I
g5.
chose chess because I thought it'd be actually slightly more interesting, and also just I didn't have to go. I didn't really feel like Minecraft tonight.
I would suggest pawn h5
I'd
to
rather do it
g6.
tomorrow, or yeah.
Pawn h7 takes g6.
I don't know what
I
achievement
would
just
suggest pawn a4 takes b5.
got. Okay, so yeah, this is going well.
Pawn
No.
a6 takes b5.
But all I can say is that it's amazing that I've been streaming for 57 minutes and with only having one viewer, which is me. That's not a bad thing, I guess. But as
I
you
would
look at it,
suggest
it's just-
pawn b2 to b4.
You try and get your hopes
Pawn
up
c4
for these
takes
things, but
b3.
it's never the case really with me on this channel. You know, we've never got proper people to come and see this channel. It's always been people who watched it once but then didn't watch it again, and then just everything's just pretty much different.
I would suggest rook a1 takes a8.
Bishop b7 takes a8.
I would suggest pawn c2 takes b3.
Don't even know what's happening, to be honest. But anyway,
Pawn b5 to b4.
definitely there'll be a stream tomorrow on something. I don't know what, but it'll be on something Minecraft.
I would suggest pawn
So-
c3 takes b4.
Hopefully that's the case. I mean, depends really, because I remember that
Queen c5 takes b4.
CNinja202 said that he would. Well, he didn't say that, but his server on Discord said that they would be able to do. They were making a Minecraft server.
I would suggest queen e2 to a6.
Hopefully that seems to be quite good, and will last actually a decent amount
Bishop
of
a8 to
weeks
b7.
or months. Or instead of having
I would
literally
suggest
one or
queen
two
a6 to
episodes,
a7.
like I did with the SMP survival map and
Bishop b7 to
SMP,
c6.
so SMP season 2, and then we had pretty much the Minecraft realm, which we can probably still go on, but it's kind of pointless really if
I would suggest
we've
queen
not used it.
a7 to
I
c7.
don't even know if we're going to still use it anymore, to be honest.
Rook h8 to h4.
If nothing's really happened.
I would suggest knight d4 takes c6.
Yeah, it looks like
Bishop
he might
e7
win.
to c5. Check.
Or not.
I would suggest king g1 to f1.
Because it just looks like the absolute worst.
Queen b4 to b5. Check.
I would suggest king f1 to e1.
Rook h4 to h1. Check.
I would suggest king e1 to d2.
There's so many times that it just gets me in check and I just don't know what to do.
Rook h1 takes d1. Check.
And this happens again.
I would suggest king d2 takes d1.
Queen b5 takes b3. Check.
I would suggest king d1 to e1.
Queen b3 to c3. Check.
I would suggest king e1 to d1.
So much fun.
Queen c3 to b3. Check.
Oh yay, I'm gonna check.
I would suggest king d1 to e1.
We actually can't just go on all night like this.
Queen b3 to c3. Check.
There's no way that these are the hints.
I would suggest
Oh
king
my
e1
God,
to
we're going
d1.
back again. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Queen c3 to b3.
It's
Check.
again.
The game is a draw.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, we'll take a draw. The game is a draw because I literally cannot see a way you could win. So therefore, it's a draw. Everyone, that is the last game I'll be playing today because I'm tired and I haven't really found this as interesting as I thought in my head before starting this. I've not really given much commentary on the game, and I've not really given much insights and been as exciting as I probably want to be. And yeah, that's not particularly great when having this type of thing. I want to let you know, guys, that there'll be more Minecraft videos coming soon because I'm on Easter break. There'll be more videos coming out, of course. I have pre-recorded the whole series of the Sonic series, which I wanted to do and have done. So the first episode is out now. The playlist will be available once pretty much everything is been completed and shown on the channel. Other news I would say is probably I might do some sort of commentary or podcast type thing. I don't really know as such, but I really want to do some sort of podcast. I really do. I have a feeling that if I get talking, I can talk for quite a while about some of these amazing subjects or so. I really want to try and I really want to increase this channel's subscribers, because this channel, I know it probably might be dead, but I don't think it is. I really think that it's got still a lot of potential in the channel itself. It is pretty much not. The channel itself is, as you well know, you viewers that it is not a world-class channel because it doesn't have a good audience as such. But what it does have is me, who happily knows that he'll probably got no views at all, but he tries to do he tries. You know, a person who actually tries to make content, even though his videos are probably not as good as others and not as funny. Personally, himself is not as funny as others, but yeah, I try to make good videos, or any type of game which I try and play. So yeah, that is basically my discussion over with it's not really a discussion, to be honest, but it's some sort of message really that's saying that I will still continue making these types of videos, or just videos that I find enjoyable and entertaining, pretty much for the next 10 years. I could see it happening, or 5 years, as I really want to see if this channel will grow. I don't know, 5 years down the line, I could have stopped doing this YouTube stuff, and I could have had a real job and done everything. I'm at university right now, so it's not really capable of anything else. But yeah, there will be moments in my life where I'll just go back to these videos though, and that's why I make them. I'll just go back to these types of videos and think to myself, wow, that's amazing. And I have to go back to, I've got to make, since probably 2 years ago, I wanted to try and go back to my old videos and react to them, but I didn't do it 2 years ago because I thought that it wasn't going to be interesting. Also, I hadn't been on YouTube for that particularly long, so there wouldn't be enough videos for me to react to, and because a lot of them are live streams and things that I do on the internet, it wouldn't have been as great. But it might be coming to a time where it will be okay to react to them. So maybe in the summer, I can, either in the summer or now, I'll be able to react to some of my older videos and see how that's like, because I really do. Some of them are so funny, but some of them are actually pretty good, but it's not as, it's either the quality's not right, the mic's not right, or just how I set it up was not right. Even the audio wasn't as good back then, but it's a lot better now, I think. I've got this, Blue Yeti mic X, the Blue Yeti X mic, Stream Deck I literally just found, and I sent out the tweet on my Twitter, which I don't really use as much. I don't tweet as many things. I'll tweet when I need to tweet, like most people. But I will try and, I've always kept people updated on when my video is going to be and stuff. But yeah, that is, in my mind, though, for a podcast. But what's... and Twitter and stuff like that. I've probably just been rambling too long, but anyway guys, I'm gonna end this live stream here today. Hope you enjoyed. Do leave a like, subscribe for more great old content, and see you guys all in the next video. Bye!